Today's focus is on the theory of constructivism, how it can be beneficial in the classroom, and some of the limitations and difficulties that also may arise for not only students but teachers when using constructivism in the classroom. By the end of this, the idea is that you'll have a deeper understanding about constructivism, how it targets children, and how it helps to also motivate them to be a part of their learning process. Duchesne and McMahon 2016 highlighted that meaning is constructed through learning. So Hine 1991 would suggest that learners construct knowledge for themselves as each learner individually constructs meaning from their own experiences and own environmental influences. There is considered to be two types of constructivism as proposed by Duchesne and McMahon 2016. Piaget introduced the term psychological constructivism, and this focuses on how the individual constructs their own knowledge, beliefs, and identity. Cobb and Yackel 1996 explained the other aspect of constructivism, which is social constructivism. This was proposed by Vygotsky, and he highlighted that although the psychological side of it is very important, there is a social and cultural aspect that also is very influential in shaping learning. So there are many strengths to constructivism as it encourages students to be really to be active learners and to be seeking advice and to be asking questions and to be really inquiring and to use their past knowledge as well as and experiences as well as their environmental influences to come to these conclusions. Anthony and Walshaw 2007 highlighted that constructivism enables the teacher to understand what students already know and what they then need to learn. So it's really important as a teacher to be able to use a child's or a student's past experiences, so their basis, and to be able to use this to extend on their prior knowledge, which is also known as scaffolding. So as children are their own active learners, it's also really important as a teacher to take a step back, and constructivism highlights that it requires teachers to become more of a guide for students rather than providing them with a step-by-step process as to exactly how to get to the conclusion. So it instructs them to use their past experiences to come to these conclusions on their own. So although cognitism does have many strengths, it's also really important to understand the limitations that may arise when using this tool in the classroom. So Duchesne and McMahon 2016, they did highlight that it's really important to be a guide for students, but they also said that some students will find this really, really difficult and quite frustrating because they don't have an answer or they don't have a step-by-step guide of how to get to this answer. So that can be quite challenging to deal with as a teacher when you've got lots of children that are very frustrated with not being able to come to a conclusion, which they're not quite used to. Also, this approach really encourages group work, and Kill in 2007 proposed that sometimes group work isn't as beneficial as what has been previously proposed due to mainly children can become off topic when they're in smaller groups, but also it's very timely for teachers to be able to set up groups and to put certain children in certain groups. So it's a process that can be very quite delicate, but it's something that constructivism really accentuates in the classroom for collaborative learning. So personally, I believe that constructivism is a great tool to be an effective teacher. And in saying that, I have an example from my Year 12 PDHPE class. So my teacher was a terrific teacher, and he was able to understand that every single person in our classroom had different personal and past experience as well as environmental influences. And from this, he was able to point out and say, okay, so for example, Sophie, netball, and associate certain examples and aspects of PDHPE to netball so that I was able to retain the information a lot easier because they were related to things that were of interest to me. In saying that, the 7 boys down the back right hand corner had very little idea about netball, so he was able to say to them, okay, for example, Harry, football, this is how, for example, muscles and movement is related to football. So he was really able to he was really able to grasp that each individual was different and really build on that and scaffold and use the understanding that each and every individual had had different past experiences and environmental influences. And from this, he was able to then allow all of us to have a clearer understanding based on what was of interest to us. And that was really effective in my learning and in retaining information. And I believe that that was a key factor in learning, because it's something that it's so necessary in this day and age for children, is to treat them all very individually. So really, in summing up, this approach really is a fantastic theory of constructivism, and I believe that if it is constructed in the classroom and it is produced in the classroom effectively, then it can be a theory that is very, very useful. But it can be quite time consuming to understand each of your students at a personal level, and understanding each individual past experiences and environmental influences. But I feel that once this time is taken, that this theory of constructivism really does accentuate children at an individual level, and that's really what I think that is a very effective tool in becoming an effective teacher.